live in, capitalism, where the few who will profit from the labor of the vast majority. In the U.S., a tiny proportion of the population enjoys fantastic wealth, while millions of people live in desperate poverty, and many more live paycheck to paycheck. This occurs despite the fact that we have the resources to feed, clothe, and educate every person on the entire planet. A world free of exploitation, socialism, is not only possible, but is worth fighting for. The ISO stands in the tradition of revolutionary socialists like Karl Marx, V.I. Lenin, and Leon Trotsky, in the belief that the workers themselves, that is, the vast majority of the population, are the only force that can lead the fight and win a better society. Socialism can't be brought about from above, but has to be won by the self-directed action of the working class itself. The Democratic Party, much like the Republicans, acts in the interests of corporate America and the privileged few at the top. Therefore, we don't support their candidates. We see our task as building an organization that participates in the struggles for justice and liberation today, and ultimately for a future socialist society. If this organization sounds like something you'd be interested in learning more about, please either talk to myself or Michael after the event tonight. On the table in the back, we have copies of our newspaper, Socialist Worker, and other literature to check out. Michael is going to pass around an email sign-up sheet. If you're interested in receiving notices about our upcoming activities, please sign up. We meet twice weekly at the Wedge, which is just west of here on the Test Mall. Yep. We have an organizing meeting at 6:30 on Wednesdays and a study group at 2 o'clock on Saturdays. Everyone's welcome to attend. As listed on the flyers found in your seats, this Saturday we're going to discuss the basics of socialism and just have a general introduction to the ISO. So if this interests you at all, even a little bit, you should definitely come and hear what we have to say and see what you think about it. So our speaker tonight is Paul Street. He is an independent, radical democratic policy researcher, journalist, historian, activist, and speaker based in Iowa City, as well as Chicago. He is the author of 5 books: Empire and Inequality, America and the World Since 9/11, Segregated Schools, Educational Apartheid in the Post-Civil Rights Era, Racial Oppression in the Global Metropolis, A Living Black Chicago History, Barack Obama and the Future of American Politics, and his forthcoming book, The Empire's New Clothes, Barack Obama and the Real World of Power. We've got copies of Barack Obama and the Future of American Politics on the back table, if anyone's interested in purchasing one. Street possesses a doctorate in modern U.S. history and has taught at a large number of Chicago area colleges and universities. He was the director of research at the Chicago Urban League from 2000 through 2005. Street's essays, articles, reviews, and commentaries have appeared in numerous outlets, most prominently ZNet and Black Agenda Report. I came across his writings during the run-up to the 2008 presidential election, and they were extremely valuable for me in figuring out what the story was regarding Barack Obama and what we could expect from the Obama administration. Namely, not hope and change, but rather frustrated hopes and preservation of the status quo. And I think that's exactly what we've got. It's clear that whatever positive changes we'd like to see will only happen if we fight for them ourselves. So, I'm excited to hear what Paul and what everyone else here tonight has to say about the critically important task of building the left in America now at the beginning of Obama's second year in office. Let's welcome Paul.
Hey, thanks for all coming out, and thanks for that introduction, Adam. I was speaking to ISO. I might mention they also, in Great Left Thinkers, they also in their mission statement, and Lenin. I have 2 copies of my 2008 book, Barack Obama and Future of American Politics, and it's a steal, I tell you, for $10. The book is a detailed, heavily annotated, highly critical from the left, but actually very polite. My publisher always makes me be polite. History of, maybe this isn't polite, Grand Obama, from origins up through the defeat of Hillary Clinton in the spring of 2008. It has ringing endorsements from some of the leading left intellectuals of our time, including Noam Chomsky and John Pilger. At the risk of sounding too arrogant, I'll say it did predict a lot of what has happened with Obama and the Democrats in U.S. politics ever since. If you don't want to buy it, just glance at pages 134 to 136, because you can read an entertaining, chilling account of my ill-fated efforts to talk to Obama's Iowa City followers about the reality of his foreign policy background in the fall and early winter of 2007. Paradigm Publishers asked me to do a follow-up volume on Obama on his first year. That manuscript has been sent off. It should be out in July under the title Empire's New Clothes. If all goes well, if we can work it out with this artist, this will be the cover of the book, and this is a picture of Obama with blood on the Nobel with the famous George Orwell statement that war is peace from 1984 down at the bottom. War is peace. The cover reminds me of something the courageous, excellent journalist Alan Nairn said on the left television show Democracy Now! About 6 weeks ago. The U.S., Nairn told Amy Goodman, has a machine that spans the globe, that has the capacity to kill, and Obama has kept the machine set on kill. For what it's worth, I knew Obama a little bit back during my years in the south side of Chicago at an all-black organization, Chicago Urban League, 45th and Michigan Avenue. I was the research director between 2000 and 2005 there. In the black community itself, a lot of people don't know this, Obama is not particularly popular, considered far too close to City Hall, too close to the downtown, the roof business sector, too academic, to University of Chicago. In fact, he didn't live in the black community. Obama moved in Hyde Park, in fact, his mansion on Fifth Avenue. I grew up in that neighborhood. You sometimes over on the other side of Jackson Park and the other side of Halsted and neighborhoods like Inglewood, which were in his 13th district, would hear the phrase acting white about Obama, but not that much. Kind of a stereotypical kind of white kind of thing that they think is set. By far and away the most common term of a program, and I do mean a program, in neighborhoods like Inglewood and North Lawndale and so on, was bourgeois, capitalistic, corporate, too close to big business. Before I get to my much, at least on Facebook, my much ballyhooed list of do's and don'ts for building a left in the age of Obama, I feel the need to address the political situation right now a little bit. I've been getting all these emails from troubled Europeans and Canadians. I always feel sorry for New Democratic Party Canadians down there. I wonder what's going on down here in the States. Who all these sort of European and Canadian progressives. I do a lot of writing for ZNet, and that puts me in contact with a lot of these global types of liberal lefty types. And of course, they're shocked by the right-wing Republican Scott Brown's victory over the establishment Democrat Marsha Coakley in the open seat election for that critical U.S. Senate post, formerly held by the great liberal Senator Ted Kennedy in quote-unquote liberal Massachusetts. Thank you so much. Is the right really having a comeback to power so soon in the United States? Could the Republicans really return to power? What's wrong with the American people? Why are they so fickle? What makes them so stupid and so reactionary? They ask. Those are their words, not mine. These are questions I'm getting. I get them a lot. Similar things are being asked instead in liberal circles here in the U.S. The tisking and the sneering about quote-unquote stupid and quote reactionary Americans is audible from privileged academic Democrats driving around in Volvos, Audis, and Priuses in places like Iowa City and in places like Java House. I'm afraid the Republican comeback is real. I'm not surprised by it. Scott Brown's triumph is only the latest sign. Last August, highly organized right-wing Republicans successfully disrupted town hall healthcare meetings across the country. On September 12th, 2009, conservatives, I put that in quote, by the way, all the time with the American right, conservatives put 100,000 really pissed off Republicans and rightists. And 100,000 is a pretty impressive number, folks, for a demo in Washington, in the streets of Washington, D.C.